Hello readers, I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. So it's Friday and it's time for another weekend reading vlog. I finished the Graveyard book by Neil Gaiman. I gave this 5 stars. I have yet to encounter a book by Neil Gaiman that I haven't loved. This book was such a fun story. It was very atmospheric. We follow Nobody Owens, also he goes by Bod, as he is growing up in a graveyard, being raised by ghosts. And honestly, there's like a mystery, but there's not exactly a plot, because he doesn't know who killed his family, and so through the whole entire story, the reader is, wondering why his family was killed. We know how, but we're wondering why his family was killed, and like what the situation was with that. And also, it's just one of those that it's got the atmospheric feeling of just, being in a graveyard and the things that go on, because this really is just him having random adventures within the graveyard, and he meets different people, and he actually meets some living people, and he becomes friends with a little girl and learns about the outside world. And then there's a part where he wants to go to school. There's a lot of good commentary in this book about friendship and found family, and there's a section that was talking about bullying, and just the whole entire story was just wonderful. I enjoyed it so much. I loved being with Nobody Owens because he was just so quaint. He didn't have a lot of the societal ideas that normal children would have, because he was raised around ghosts that were hundreds of years old. He had a lot of different influences from several different types of ghosts that were living in the graveyard that spanned back through history, and so he learned a lot of history from the people that he was around, and it was just a wonderful story. And if you like Neil Gaiman and you enjoy his middle grade specifically, check this book out, because it is so worth reading. It was just so good. It was so good. I absolutely adored this book. So I apologize for this very poor lighting. It is not yet daylight. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun is coming up, but it's still very dark. And I needed to start this now because I am going to be going out of town today. So I don't want to try to have to stop somewhere in a parking lot and talk to you guys in the car. Just thought I would start now. I'm not really sure what I'm reading this weekend. I have picked up some stuff, but it is subject to change. The first book that I started after I finished the Graveyard book is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Bannon. And this book says that, I'm just going to read the back because I think that it would be easier. This book has a completely new world in it that this author has created for this story. So I'm just going to read the back, that way it's just easier. Hart Ralston is a marshal tasked with patrolling the strange and magical wilds of Tenria. It's an unforgivable job, and he's got nothing but time to ponder his loneliness. Mercy Birdsall never has a moment to herself. She's been single-handedly keeping Birdsall and Son undertakers afloat in defiance of sullen jerks like Heartache Hart, the man with a knack for showing up right when her patience is thinnest. After yet another run-in with Merciless Mercy, Hart finds himself penning a letter addressed simply to a friend. Much to his surprise, he receives an anonymous letter in return, and a tentative friendship is born. Little does Hart know he's bearing his soul to the person who infuriates him the most. So I have read 50-ish pages of this, and so far I've really been enjoying the writing. There's a lot of world building in this, actually, just because it is a brand new world, and I love that it doesn't feel like info dumps. This book is 416 pages, and we get exposition talking about the world instead of info dumps, and I really appreciate that. And also, you can see how this relationship is going to start to blossom right from the get-go, because these two have chemistry, but they're angry at each other, they don't like one another, and yet they do. You can tell that they do. I'm really looking forward to reading more of this. I've heard really great things about it. I've heard people describe it as like a Studio Ghibli type story, and Studio Ghibli are some of my absolute favorite movies. So I will be reading more of this today for sure, and I will keep you guys updated. I don't know if I will try to finish this over the weekend, but I'll let you guys know. For my main book, I hadn't yet really decided what I wanted to go with. I've picked up The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I've been very excited to read this since I first got this book, which has been a while ago. I don't even remember when I picked this up. And I know that it's supposed to have those kind of dark academia vibes, and it takes place on Yale campus, and it's about demon hunting, I think. I don't know. There's a mystery and stuff going on campus with like hidden societies and things like that. And I'm very intrigued, and I've heard people say that they really love it. I've also heard people say that they didn't like it at all. So I am hoping that I'm really going to enjoy it. I can't decide today what I'm in the mood to read. I feel like I want to start this book, but at the same time, I just feel like I'm in kind of a weird headspace where I just don't know what I want to read. I keep looking at my shelves, just kind of pondering to myself what sounds like I would really enjoy reading it, but I keep coming up empty-handed on the whole. So my go-to as of right now is this book. It is over 400 pages, so if I'm going to read this, then I would like to jump into it and just stick with it, because it's going to be a little bit longer reading. See, I made the mistake of watching some Christmas vlogs recently, and it has put me in the mood to read Christmassy type books, which is an issue because it is just now like starting to go into the fall season. Nonetheless, I need to get my head back into fall mode instead of Christmas mode, and I think that that's my issue. So I'm going to get ready to go for the day, and I will let you guys know. I think I'm going to stick with this one, but I'll keep you posted. Hello there, I am back. I have about an hour to kill before I have to be at my next appointment, so I am going to do a little book shopping. What else can you do with an hour other than bookshop? I am not in the town that I live in, so I am able to go to Barnes & Noble, which unfortunately I don't get to do as often as I would like to, which is probably better on my wallet anyway, but nonetheless, I'm gonna go bookshop and I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Hey there, it's me, and I'm still in the car. It has decided to come a random downpour, so it's been raining and thundering for a little bit. I did a little bit of shopping. I'm waiting on my son's Switch to get fixed, so I had to drop it off earlier, and I'm still waiting on it, so I thought I'd talk to you guys for a little bit. I went to Barnes & Noble, and I went to a used bookstore, and I figured I'd do a small little haul here since I have some time to kill. The first books that I picked up are from Barnes & Noble. I got Middle Game by Seanan Mcguire. I talked to my best friend about this today. I've had my eye on this book for a little while. I've seen a lot of people read it and really enjoy it. I have wanted to read it for a while, and I figure this is a really good season to read it. And she said that I should go for it, so I did. I picked it up. That is really loud. And then Barnes & Noble has a lot of hardback books on sale right now, so I went ahead and picked up The Monarchs by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. The font was a little shiny and I couldn't see it well. I got this for 50% off. I have The Ravens. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard that people really like it, and I figure while they've got it 50% off hardback, I may as well pick up a copy of the second one because I know that I'm going to read it. Okay, at the used bookstore, I picked up just a few books. I got The Great Hunt, which is by Wendy Higgins. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I heard about this ages ago whenever I first started watching BookTube. Murphy Napier was talking about how she liked it back then. I've wanted to read it since I first saw it, and I found it today for $7, so I thought, hey, why not? The second book I picked up was The Poison Heart by Kaylin Barron. This is actually a signed copy, and I got it for $5. I thought that was a really great deal. I think this cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I've been wanting to read this for a little while. I also asked my best friend about this one, and she said she really enjoyed it, so I thought, hey, that's a really good deal. And then the last book that I picked up is The Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Heard so many people say how much they love this book, so I figured I'd just go ahead and pick up a copy of it because I've been really wanting to read it, and I have a feeling that I'm probably going to love it too. So that concludes my mini book haul. I did pick up a movie, the Clue movie. I already had a copy of this, but I can't find it anywhere. I think that I may have loaned it to somebody and then never gotten it back because I have no idea where it's at. But I found it for like $5, so I figured that I would just grab another copy so that I can watch that tonight because I really just want to marathon a bunch of like scary murder mystery movies tonight. At least that's my plan. So I also have been reading The Ninth House today, just the audio. I've got the audio, and I have made it to chapter 3, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's actually like over 50 pages. So there's not a lot to talk about here. The main character, Alex, it kind of goes back and forth from a past perspective and a present perspective, and she is on the Yale University campus, and like we're flashing back to when she's like getting settled in and meeting Darlington and learning about some of the things that she's going to be dealing with. And then flashing to the present where she is dealing with those things and he's not there. I don't really know what's going on. I'm just along for the ride, and I'm okay with that. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I also read 7 chapters of The Death of Miss Westaway by Ruth Ware. I talked about this, I think, in my last vlog, but I'm buddy reading this with my bestie. And she and I had decided to read to chapter 15 today, and I just got to chapter 15, and then I put it down and picked The Ninth House up. I haven't read any more than that today. Let's see. So I've read overall over 100 pages so far, and I am still waiting on that switch. They said it's probably going to be another 30 minutes, so I'm probably just going to sit here and read because it's pouring down rain. I'm not really sure how well you can hear me or if my audio is even going to be worth a crap in this clip because the rain is so loud, but it's the perfect time to just sit and chill with a good book, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Here's a glimpse at what it's like to be me. I can't leave my house unless I have several books with me for moments like this when I'm just sitting and possibly want to pick something else up. I've got Nevernight, which I'm still reading. I've got My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix because I'm wanting to reread it for the movie coming out next month. I have The Hand on the Wall, which is the next book in the Truly Devious series, which I've been absolutely loving. I've got Dracula, obviously, because, you know, Tim Curry audiobook. And then I also have The Starless Sea. I've been wanting to read this, and I figure at some point I'm going to pick it up because I'm really excited to read it. I've been dying to read it for a while. And then also I have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I've been wanting to pick this up for a while. I've had it since it came out, but I haven't picked it up yet. I don't have the audio for this, so when I do pick it up, it's going to have to be a physical read, and I just don't know if I have time for that, so I guess, you know, I'll just pick it up at some point. I have so many books here. I don't mean to be this person who has to have 15,000 books. I also have in here The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, and then of course the ones that I just bought. If you wonder if I have a problem, the answer is most likely yes, but we're not going to talk about that. Hey guys, I'm home, as you can see. I have just been chilling here for a little while. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. I don't have a lot of good lighting. I have been watching some booktube and I took a nap. I've been up since like 5 o'clock, so I was really worn out. I took a nap and now I've just been sitting here reading, and I just wanted to say that I'm really enjoying The Ninth House so far. It has some small things that just kind of irritate me, just like we kind of just get thrown into this world and you just roll with it, which is cool. I'm fine with that. But my problem is whenever the main character, Alex, will just like drop a name. She'll say something about a person and that person has never been mentioned before and there's no explanation to who they are. It's just like, oh yeah, and so-and-so. And I was like, well, who is so-and-so? And then, you know, is it a name that you need to remember? Is it a name that's just a throwaway name? Just that small detail is a little frustrating, but only in a small way. Like, I'm actually really enjoying the story, and I like Alex as a character, and so far, just kind of falling in and seeing where it takes me is pretty cool. So I actually am having a good time just sitting here chilling and reading. I'm hoping to stay up pretty late tonight because I did take a nap and I would like to stay up and read for a while. So that's the plan. I would like to try to get to page 150 in this tonight, and I hopefully will be able to do that. I guess we will see. I will check back in with you guys in a little while. There's a possibility that I might pick up A Deadly Education because I've been really wanting to read that one too. I've got it sitting here with me. I don't really know what my plan is. I'm just going with the flow and hanging out. I'll talk to you guys later. Good morning, friends. It's actually Sunday. Yesterday was a very busy day. I didn't really have a lot of time to try to film, and I was pretty tired yesterday anyway, so I didn't even attempt to say anything because my brain was foggy and I figured that it probably wouldn't come out very coherent. I'm thinking that my Friday footage might be a little incoherent also because I got up so early that morning and I was also tired that day. So if it is, I'm sorry. But hopefully it's not. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. At this point, you would already know, I guess, if it's in this vlog. Anyway, I'm rambling. So, I didn't have a lot of time to read yesterday. I did most of my reading on Friday. I did a little bit of reading last night. I ended up not being able to sleep too well last night, in the middle of the night. So I picked this up, and I have gotten to page 155, and so far I am really liking it. It does have some moments in it that are kind of brutal or just a bit graphic, so if you are going to read this, just be aware that there are some scenes that are a bit graphic and that could trigger somebody. Make sure that you look up trigger warnings for this book. I haven't had any issues with it, but I think that some people might. So just be aware of that if you decide to read it. It is a very slow book. It is atmospheric. It is not necessarily plot driven. There's not really anything that the main character is doing. We're bouncing back and forth between the past, when she like first gets to Yale and is kind of getting settled into working with this group called the Lethe House. She's working with them and trying to learn what her job is on campus. Well, her is Alex. I should have said that. Her name's Alex. And she has met Darlington. I may have said some of this before, but she's working with him, learning a job that she's going to be doing, which is basically trying to protect secret societies that are doing magic rituals from ghosts. That's pretty much the idea of what's happening. And we go from the past when she first got there to the future when she is kind of doing stuff on her own and figuring things out, and she gets involved with a mystery, a death that, well, a murder mystery, and she is wanting to try to figure out what happened because something doesn't seem right. And honestly, that's like the bare bones of it. It just bounces back and forth. There's not really a whole lot to say about it. It's really good so far. I like the writing. It's over 400 pages long, so it definitely is taking its time to get set up. And this is one of those books where you really just get thrown into the world and you have to just kind of figure it out as you go along, because you don't really get explanations, so you just have to be along for the ride for this story. And that's okay. It's really fun to read. I like the main character, Alex. She seems like she's kind of a more gritty character who doesn't really take crap from people, and I like that. I enjoy characters who are like that. I also have been trying to do majority of my reading for this more physical instead of listening to the audio, which I have been bouncing back and forth. Whenever I can't just sit down and read, then I try to listen to the audio. But I've found that, and I don't know if anybody else is like this, I think I've conditioned myself to reading audio, so now whenever I'm reading audio, my brain can focus better, but whenever I don't have the audio, I find that I'm having a harder time like staying in the book. It's more difficult for me to, I guess, maintain my focus. But I guess that kind of makes sense anyways, because my house is always pretty hectic and it's kind of hard to stay focused in general around here. But anyway, I am going to go read for a little while. I think we're going to take it easy today since we had a lot of running to do yesterday and Friday. And today's just going to be a chill day. And hopefully, I don't know if I'll be able to finish Ninth House since I'm not too far into it. I'm going to try to get as far as I can in it. And we'll just kind of see. Always just going with the flow around here. I'll catch up with you guys later. Taking a break to play a little Animal Crossing and watch one of my absolute favorite booktubers. It's always good to have a break. Hey friends, welcome to Tuesday. So this weekend ended up being kind of hectic and very sporadic, and I didn't have time to wrap up the vlog. And also, I wanted to actually finish reading Ninth House, which I did between yesterday and today. I really enjoyed this book. I have to say that it has some moments of being pretty brutal, and there is social commentary in this book about people in college, specifically elite type people in college that are kind of being like looked past because of wealth or high standing in places like Yale, and the fact that women can get brutalized and it just be brushed under the rug and that be okay. And I really appreciated that those subtle undertones were there and that it was a discussion that was brought up in this book. It's not like in your face. It is definitely a discussion that happens that is very subtle, and I really appreciated that. I appreciated that that commentary is there because it's something that gets overlooked so frequently. At the end of the book, there, if you listen to the audiobook, there is a interview with Leigh Bardugo, and she actually talks about the fact that that type of stuff is looked over a lot whenever it comes to universities, and that we live in a society where we are just made to believe that we should put ourselves down, or that we grow up saying mean things about ourselves, and that's just the type of speech that we are conditioned to live with. And honestly, I hadn't thought about it like that. It's just an interesting topic to have been breached for this book. But about the book, I really enjoyed this story. Since we are flashing back and forth between the past and what's going on in the present, we have a lot of glimpses of Alex just getting to know Lethe House and her job and what she's doing to help protect the societies. And then in the future, well, the present, it's not the future, it's the present, we have where she is trying to solve a murder case that has happened on campus. And I know some people had said that their problem with the book was that she gets involved in this case when she shouldn't have, that she should have stayed out of it, that she was like tampering with evidence and crime scenes. But honestly, that's needed for the book. That's a main part of the plot, that she has to go do these things because people aren't taking it seriously. So just be aware that this is largely a detective story, and that it is very dark academia. There's a murder, there are secret societies, there is magic, a lot of underground dealings. This book does have its moments of being a little bit slow, but it does so well at story building. And another thing that Leigh Bardugo had talked about in that interview was that she did go to Yale, that these societies are real, that every building that she talked about, other than Darlington's house, which I can't think of the name of right now, every place that she talked about was a real place. And if you were to look it up, it is actually there. You can see pictures of it if you go online. So everything about the book, like factually about the campus, is correct. The actual histories of the societies, that stuff is correct. She just added magic into those things. And that's just so neat to me. The fact that this book is actually factually sound, and it's just a story that she turned into fiction. That's so cool to me. I really enjoyed the book. I especially loved the twist at the end. I didn't see that coming. Totally was blown away by the ending of the book. It was a really good book. It was such a good book. And if you are wanting an atmospheric fall read, if you're wanting something that has a slow build and a murder mystery and magic, check this book out, because it was so worth the read, and it was worth the slow moments. It's just really, really well written. So over the course of the weekend, I read 450 pages of this, and then I did read a few chapters of The Death of Miss Westaway before my buddy read. I didn't read anything other than that. I never picked up The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy again. I just solely read this book and did it at a very slow pace. I had a really good time reading this, and it is a really great book for just like getting into a fall mood and immersing yourself in the atmosphere of all things autumn. I just really, really enjoyed it. I don't know what I'm going to read next. I'm not really sure what I'm going to pick up for the rest of the week, but this is the end of the vlog. I hope that you guys have had fun hanging out with me. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.